Welcome back to Sick Conversations. I'm joined here by Prince. Today we'll be talking about what it means to advocate for sickle cell in the different spaces. So thank you for joining us, Prince.
You're welcome.
Tell us about yourself.
My name is Erimu Cornelius Prince. I'm 31 years, strong. I'm a biomedical engineer in training, though apparently I'm earning my bread as a digital marketer. Yeah, I'm born of 4.
Okay.
And 2 of us, me and my younger sibling, are the ones that got sickle cell disease. The other 2 are carriers. Yeah.
Okay. How old is your younger sister?
My younger sister is 30.
30.
Yes.
Okay, a year apart.
Yes.
How is she dealing with the condition?
She's coping on well. Growing up, we have learned to deduce what works best for us as people is what we adopt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, very interesting. I think you are maybe like the 5th person I've met that has a sibling that also has sickle cell, so it's not very uncommon, it seems.
Yeah, true.
Can you tell us about your personal journey? What inspired you to get involved in advocating for sickle cell?
Basically, I had to first come to a point of understanding of who I am. I did not know to a certain extent that simple information about who you are, about how your body operates, is important in sustaining you. When you're born with this condition, when you're young, basically everything you are asking, either mommy why or daddy why.
Yeah.
But when you grow up, you are entitled to look after yourself as a person. So that triggered my understanding, and I'm like, I want to understand how the body works, why the body operates like this. And okay, when I've understood how the body works, then I get to understand what is out there for me.
Yeah.
So when I joined all this together, I realized that there are so many warriors out there that do not understand also their bodies. So that's what brought me to advocating.
Advocate.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, and it's a difficult journey when you don't have anyone else to relate to or to guide you. So overcoming that by yourself, well, you and your sister together, overcoming that, it's amazing. You're actually older than I thought, just a year younger than me. It's good to hear. What was the turning point that made you realize the importance of advocacy?
In my studies, I did most of the sciences. So to a certain extent, I got to realize that people do not understand what genes are.
Yeah.
I was really looking at certain information somewhere. Then this is when I learned that, oh wow, people do not understand what is going on. People have so many thoughts in their minds. People have, let's say, think it's myths. Some of the myths being witchcraft. I realized that to an extent, I have a calling to go out there and say, look here, this is a genetic condition, first of all. And it being a genetic condition, it has its own implication when you understand what genes are.
Yeah.
When you understand what genes are, how they come to form you, that is when you also understand how your body works. That's when you also understand how to prevent. And the most important thing here is the understanding of prevention of this condition.
Yeah.
Because if you don't prevent, to those of us that are in this condition already, we know the implications.
Yeah.
First of all, the social implications, whereby there is a lot of stigma financial implications, sickle cells is very expensive to maintain.
Yes.
Someone growing up to 31 years old, really, you would rather prevent.
Yeah.
You get?
Yeah.
So there are so many things that come up that bring about this condition. You get?
Yeah.
And to a certain extent, I got to understand that sickle cells, as per sickle cells, does not kill.
Yeah.
But the things that crop up because of the weakness that sickle cells brings is what does
That kills.
You get? Someone will get a condition, let's say multiple organ failure, due to sickle cells, but the multiple organ failure is the one which will tie them down. You get?
Yeah.
Not the gene.
Yeah.
That is the understanding that I got, that I saw that I need to put this out there. I need to get people to understand this as well.
Yeah.
So that is where it is.
And I've noticed that actually I think you're the only one in the group that really tries to explain and advocate, talk about sickle cell from a genetic perspective. A lot of people talk about just the issues, the pain, the healthcare system,
Yes.
but no one explains the scientific detail of how we inherited it, how we can combat it, how we
Yes.
can help ourselves by understanding our body better.
Yes. In the understanding of all these things, most of the cases have been speaking of that pain is not the problem as well. Pain is the communication.
The response.
Yes. It's telling you that you need to respond to this part because there is something wrong there.
Yeah.
So what we normally do that is wrong is basically shooting the messenger.
Yeah.
We hurriedly go for antibiotics, we hurriedly go for painkillers.
Painkillers, yes. Yeah.
Because transfusion to an extent can be a solution. You get? But the painkillers to an extent might not be a solution. You are just shooting the messenger. You get? So that is the level of my understanding, that when you read, when you sit down and concentrate and be like, what is actually happening here? You start to get those revelations that, okay, my body is A, B, C, D. So let me work on it like this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. How did your personal experiences with sickle cell shape your advocacy efforts?
I started when I was completing my Form 6.
Okay. That's early.
I got a condition called chronic leg ulcers. I was in a state whereby my legs were swollen like it's elephantiasis. To a certain extent, there was visiting of the medics, but some medics were opting for even amputation to a certain extent.
Wow, that's extreme.
Always when you are having any condition, seek for what we call a second view.
Yeah.
One doctor might recommend this, and another doctor might recommend this. So we have ways of treating. Basically, everything has ways of being treated. So one doctor might have the radical method, and then one might use the radio method. Someone told me, okay, it was a doctor, come very early in the morning, 5 a.m., you'll be in theater for amputation. I was like, oh, wow. Let me go and get a second opinion about this. When I went and got a second opinion about it, someone said, your Achilles tendon, you're very lucky that it is a thread remaining. I want you to recognize the power of healing, is that it is a thread remaining. And we all know that the Achilles tendon is the one that is responsible for the legs movement. So it's a thread. And if it breaks, you will have your leg like paralyzed in one position.
Yeah.
You get?
Yeah.
But then if we manage to bring it closer and it heals, it will work out. So this person is like, time heals all wounds. And I'm like, okay, let me go with the second option. What do I have to lose? You get? With time, we treated these wounds 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. And at least with the 4th year, it had dried up. But remember that chronic ulcers can be cured very fast. But just because most of us lack information, we lack the information that there are bacteria that is causing the ulcers not to grow not to heal very fast. And because we have a weak immune system, those bacteria thrive. You get? So when they are thriving, there's one or two things that you need to know. Is that you need to have a lab technician close to you always. Why? Is that that person always goes and takes a swab, cultures it, goes and tests the antibiotic that is working now. You get? After testing, they give you the recommended antibiotic. You get? So with the antibiotics, these bacteria can grow resistance. And as well, antibiotics, when you monotonize the use of it, they also have other implications within the body that come about. When we are looking at treatment of these legs, chronic ulcers and things like that, we need to bring like medics that are close to us. Get that person that is your friend.
Reliable.
Get your doctor and make them your friend. And let them always recommend the good details of what to do. To a certain extent, if I did not always go back to my doctor to test, is this antibiotic still working? Is this antibiotic still working? I would have remained with one antibiotic, swallowed it, it becomes resistant, continued the swallowing, then it brings up other implications. You know how other medical implications can come up. That showed me that out there, this can be a pivotal role for me. You get? It is from the experience, which this is just one experience, but we have very many experiences as warriors. We have so many things that we can talk about. You get? But there is that one experience that tells you, oh, Prince, if you sought out and you decided to tell people that this is how life is challenging for a warrior, and the best way is for you to prevent, the better. That is one of my areas that brought me to that.
To get started in advocacy.
In advocacy.
You've been doing it for a very, very long time.
Yes,
longer than me by far. I'm learning a lot because I don't have a lot of experience with leg ulcers. I've never experienced. I actually don't even know how they form. I don't know what causes a leg ulcer. How does that develop?
Let me just give you the common ways. Most of us as patients, we go to hospitals and then they look for veins on the arms, they disappear, they try to inject here, they try to inject here. Then they try to inject your leg.
Okay.
You get? To try and find that vein on your leg. So, due to the immune system being weak, where that injection has gone, if it is not closely monitored, it can slowly, you are seeing a simple boil coming up. And for you are seeing this simple boil is not going deep, but it is going wide. And once they remove that boil cover, it's yellow in color. That's when you understand that there's bacteria trying to form.
Yeah.
For me, how it started was that when I was young, I was not briefed that you have sickle cells. I would try to act like any young person would. I would ride the bicycles, I would run, I would fall, I would bruise myself. So those scars, when I reach a certain moment, those scars would just boil up. There is one that developed because an ingrown hair had refused to come out.
What? That's crazy.
Just here near the knee. There are so many ways, but once you notice, how do you tackle it? Because this chronic ulcer can heal in like 3 months.
Yeah.
Can you be fast in tackling it? Once you delay, it continues to boil. We have a mistake in always trying to treat such conditions as normal wounds. Those conditions are treated differently.
Yeah, they have to be.
They have to be dressed differently. To some of us out there, when we get the chronic wounds, we want to leave the wound open. Your case is that you have sickle cells, and leaving the wound open will have the environment bring in its vectors
More
to come. More infections.
Exposure.
And to a certain extent, most people don't know that they have to get the tetanus shots. So those exposures around us in our environment are things that we need to look out for.
Yeah.
When we get to understand what our genotypes are, that is when we get to understand, oh, okay, if my genotype is ABCD, then I can know that I can try to do this to prevent this. Some triggers are not for every genotype. You get? There is a genotype that I came across whereby once someone is triggered into crisis, they just break down mentally. We see that sickle cell disease is spread across racial circles, right?
Yeah.
So we get to understand that even the other races have the condition, but in different genotypes.
Yes.
Mostly. So few of the same genotypes are in the different races.
Yeah.
When you start to understand such information, then you're like, okay, what is the way forward with this? So you get to understand that the way forward is actually prevention is better.
Yeah.
Get to know your genotype. When you get to know your genotype, get to know your partner's genotype. When you get to know your partner's genotype, it is easier to be like, okay, I'm intentional, I will have children in this relationship, or we shall have this relationship without children. Look out for the future, the generation that is coming.
Or anything in between, adopting.
Exactly.
Can you share a memorable moment or achievement in your advocacy journey that you are very proud of, or particularly proud of?
When I was invited to speak at the Buganda Kingdom medical camp.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing.
That was a big milestone for me because it was under the genotype awareness campaign with a friend called Cinderella Alu, and we were invited through Rotary. In this advocacy, I gave some speech in Rotary. Cindy also gave some speech in Rotary. That's when we found the social minister of Buganda Kingdom, Rotarian Cotilda. And she's like, okay, you have good insight in the disease and you have also been affected. Can you come and address the people at the recently concluded medical camp in Buganda? And we were like, wow, this is a big invite. We took it on. We gave people the details, and the good thing is that on that very day, there were more partners that came to actually do the screening. That was a highlight in this journey for me. Yeah, I've been in so many areas, but that is the highlight.
Congratulations, that's a big milestone. Yes. And what are some of the biggest challenges you faced?
I started an online campaign. At the beginning of the online campaign, it would now be over 5 years. So to one extent, I realized that everything has what we call stakeholders. When I had reached somewhere, my pages were bashed, were hacked. So to an extent, I was like dropping off.
Yeah.
But then I realized that this is not mine. So that's when I decided to become a foot soldier. Go to people, speak to them.
Yeah.
Basically, this was designing and putting online. You know, everyone has the prowess and strength online. So that was the biggest challenge. I spoke to other people that brought me back to this journey. Is that there are so many tactics. You get? If this tactic has failed, use this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's never the end of the road.
yeah, true.
How do you handle the emotional and physical toll that advocacy brings on? Because I see you, especially you're in the field a lot when it comes to screening, your activities with Rotary.
As I've said, that when I try to use a different approach towards this advocacy journey, that's when I realized that there are so many opportunities out there. I try physically not to strain myself.
Yeah.
And when I feel it coming, sometimes you feel it coming, I take a step back. So emotionally, I have a group of people that are supporting. You get? There are those you identify to a certain extent and be like, this person will come out and help you in such a way. When you are in a field and then you get into crisis, there is someone you can speak to. You get?
Yeah.
And then they are like, okay, let's do ABCD. Okay.
So you always have someone there with you in case anything happens, someone you can rely on.
Always, let me take this, like when I was still at school. When I was still at school, I got always one friend who would understand what I'm going through. To a certain extent, even teachers do not.
Yeah, they definitely don't.
So that one person is the friend to keep close. And then those friends are the people that we always also be there for.
Yeah.
In life, in time.
Yeah.
So when I come to an organization and we are here, we are advocating, we are having a medical camp, we are having basically all these activities. First of all, I will have checked myself, but given that crises come due to exhaustion as well, I'll also have come prepared. So mentally, everyone can be challenged. At this same venue, one time when I got a very huge crisis.
Really?
I was here and downstairs there is a lady, her name her name is Tabitha. It's the one I spoke to. And by the way, it's when I even got to learn about Rare Mark Foundation. She's the one I spoke to. We were here for some tech competition and things like that. She's the one who helped me grab transport to hospital, things like that.
Yes.
You get?
Yeah.
So they are always people that understand.
Yeah.
It is upon you to identify.
Yeah.
Emotionally, always speak to someone.
Yeah.
There are people that are in the scape of counseling. When I was at campus, there is always that lady that I would speak to. That, oh, this pressure is, oh, this is taking me like this. to a certain extent, this is a person who was even wanting us to advocate, because, you know, as warriors, given that pressure can also trigger you, this lady to a certain extent had brought up a module of non-examination module for warriors. She is advocating for it to be adopted.
Can you discuss any specific obstacles you've encountered when trying to raise awareness or secure resources? Because we've had lots of trouble trying to explain the differences we're trying to make when engaging corporate partners or just people to partner with. So I'm sure you've faced similar challenges.
When you speak of sickle cells, people tend to come with a notion that you're crying for pity.
Yeah. You get? That's a great point.
People think that you are crying out. But then, to a certain extent, the very same people come to you and be like, I have a friend who wants to test. You get the irony of that. So, and I'm like, okay, it's fine. For me, I'll help. I'll tell you, okay, Rare Mark is doing on this day. This club is doing on this day. This club is doing on this day. You go and test. But when we are coming together as people that are joining forces to get funds, first remove that stigmatization that we are crying out for pity. No. That is the first thing that any person who is a willing sponsor should take out of their head. Then for corporate people, they want established companies. So when you come and let's say you have a new idea or a new innovation, you'll be like, oh, okay, this is nice. You have brought it on paper. You put it there. Then someone is like, oh, this is actually good. Are you coming from this and this, a body, this and this body? And I'm like, no, this is a genotype campaign. It's not even a body. It's registered as a campaign. You get? We are doing a campaign. And it's like, oh, who would have funded you if it came from
a specific?
You get? This body. And I'm like, no, we have structured as well as the body is structured. Mostly to the corporate. You get? We want to be viewed collaborating with a huge company. We want to be viewed. Then you're like, okay, it's fine. Let me try to analyze what you have put, your input, then I grow it. The next thing you know, it's already being done by someone
else.
Those are very big challenges when it comes to the corporate world. We understand how the corporate world works. By the time I come and I've identified that, I really want to do something like tangible in that arena. When I come and see an idea frustrated, you know, that is some of the things that bring someone like down.
We approached a company and I couldn't believe their response because we've approached lots of companies. Lots of them are happy to come on board, help us with our campaign, testing and blood donations. And this specific HR manager said he does not see how this would benefit his staff members. And that it made my blood boil, because that means they have no interest in supporting the cause, first of all, no interest in even learning about it. Because I'm sure if he was interested, he would come to find out that so many of his staff members are carriers or maybe hidden warriors. You never know.
So one of the things that I would think that would be very much effective on a broad scale is coming up with a national database. We learned that the national database is in existence, but we just know that it is in existence, period. Not beyond knowing. Trying to access
a national database for like warriors, or
when we are in the medical field, we understand what we call the hospital management systems. And in the developed world, the hospital management systems are synchronized.
Yeah.
You get?
Yeah.
In that, people would say that the whites don't have sickle cells, but no, they just manage. It is easy for you to say, okay, let's say you're in the UK, you have this partner, you go for a test with this partner. If they try not to give you their information, which you are entitled to, it is easy to retrieve it. Because you are intending to. Okay? They cannot give you for everyone, but for that specific person you are intending to get married to.
Yeah.
Or the person you are intending to get children with. In Africa, we have that notion of wanting to associate marriage with children. Those are two different things. Yeah. So a national database would not be only that database that you go to and they retrieve your information as a warrior. No. It would be each and everyone's medical information embedded there. If we come together as a country, it is easy for me to say, okay, I'm using scientific methods, I'm using surrogate methods, I'm adopting, I'm actually going to have a child with my partner. By the time I'm prepared to do that, I have all this information on my fingertips.
Yeah, okay, I see.
If the advocacy can reach to that level. Yes, now we have that level of everyone should test before marriage. But what of these people that do not go to the weekend marriages and everything? Because we have seen that so many children come out of the weekend marriages. So we need to understand where we are coming from.
Now I understand more of what you meant by a national database.
Yes.
In your view, what are the most critical policy changes needed to improve the lives of those with sickle cell?
The improving of policies. Uganda has one of the best policies by far, I believe. But for me, I would zero on the exercising of the policies. Okay? In that patient rights should be properly exercised.
For example,
you go to a medical facility and you find, let's say, a medical practitioner, let's say a nurse, or someone on duty, and they neglect you, and you are actually at the ER. Most people do not understand, but is that when someone that has this condition reaches the ER, that means
it's desperate.
It's a desperate moment. Yes. They have even tried the remedies that you want them to try.
Yeah.
They have even tried the painkillers. You get? By the fact that that is when we have lost so many in that journey, is that you reach the ER, someone is not properly breathing. Let's say they have acute chest syndrome. And the doctor is like, we have not seen this for the first time. The policies are there. The medical ethics are there. Can we execute them? Because we are looking at life. Can we execute them properly?
Yeah.
That is where I zero down on. Is that we have working systems to a certain extent. We have medical personnel, and for this condition, we do not, to a certain extent, for the first aid, you do not even have to have a professor in the place. No, you have to have a nurse. You get?
Yeah.
You have to have an ER doctor available, and most of the cases you reach and the people are there, but it is the neglect.
Yes.
You get? It is the neglect. So when we try to work on our thinking, is that imagine this is your son, because yes, even you, the medical practitioners, have these people with you. Them being not related to you does not mean anything. Just save a life.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I think of policies that could be enacted, I think of things like a national type of insurance for warriors that the ministry can provide, based on, if obviously you have to prove that you have sickle cell, then you can join this program where the government can cover so much of your costs, because like we've said, it's a really expensive disease. So I feel like that's a policy that could be discussed, could be worked on.
I've debated with so many insurers. To a certain extent, I was invited to work with a certain insurance company. I've debated with so many. And then all have one chorus answer, is that sickle cell is a high risk.
Yeah, it's always...
To your point, I would say that if the national policy is so much towards the scholarships that are given to warriors for treatment, the treatment scholarships, to be basically availed, the information to be sourced. Most of us lack this information to even know what exactly is going on where, even in our countries, right? But you find that someone might have, let's say, a vesicular necrosis, and there is a scholarship, let's say with the Italian government or the German government, that has been brought, let's say, to Mulago. But because we lack the information, we lack the information structure. The information structure brings us back to what we call the national database. Whereby if it is a national database, that means it also has a portal where this information lies. Are you a warrior? Now we have seen CRISPR, and people are getting scholarships to go and get treatments of CRISPR. But how are you availed to that information? That is what we should be speaking about as a nation.
Yeah, I also think that another policy that they could work on is trying to find a way of subsidizing medication. Not just healthcare, but also medication. For example, hydroxyurea. I don't know if you personally use it, but a lot of warriors I know need it but can't afford it. Certain drugs only apply to warriors. So I feel like the government could work on a way of subsidizing that specific medication.
When I was young, we were the people who are suffering. You know, warriors have that pneumonia attacking. You get? Warriors have that attack of pneumonia in the infancy stage. So I believe back then, when the sickle cell clinic at Mulago was still a container, we were the people that came to okay, they tested us, and then they recommended that PenV, that is being recommended right now, for up to 5 years, you get? So at that time, given that we were the study subjects, we were even given free medication. And we survived. We are the people living right now. To a certain extent, someone will be like, oh, why use me as a guinea pig? But to a certain extent, you want the advancement of science as well.
Yeah.
You get? You want the next warrior to live.
Yeah.
If right now a warrior is taking PenV for 5 years, but it is being bought, that is something questionable.
Exactly.
We should go back to providing that medication as a nation,
Yes.
as a country.
Yes.
That's what I believe.
I agree 100%. What improvements would you like to see in the healthcare system regarding the management of sickle cell disease? I think we've talked about a few things, but is there anything else you can think of?
Being a biotech, I see that we lack so much technology in management. We follow technologies that come up, trends and whatever, we study. We just end on studying them. But what if they come here? We have been seeing the imaging technologies, now they have started coming to the country. And we also need to see that things like pots, warriors to get pots, warriors to get warming blankets, warriors to get most of them that have gotten challenges, mobility challenges, getting prosthetics and things like that. You get? Basically, that was something that would uplift someone, because as we said, that sickle cells might not be exactly the wrong detail, but what comes up with it is what actually affects someone.
I only found out recently there's only one machine for blood exchange in the whole of Uganda.
Dialysis?
Yeah, JCRC. I think we definitely need more in Uganda, because I went for a blood exchange for the first time last year and it helped so much. I didn't have a crisis for about 10 months, no issues.
Yes.
And it's so common in the US, the UK, people go maybe like quarterly.
Yes.
That's an improvement I can see. Another one is, I've been to hospital a few times and the nurses don't even know where to begin to treat.
Exactly.
So I feel education, nurses, some doctors even are not very knowledgeable about sickle cell.
Sure.
I think that's another improvement we could see in the healthcare system. Yeah, those are just a few I can think of off the top of my head. So what have been your key learnings since you started advocating?
For you to grow, you have to evolve. You cannot tell someone something, but you are going to tell someone something that you also have not done.
Yeah.
Evolve. I have experienced chronic ulcers. I have experienced part of vesicular necrosis. I've experienced some of the multiple organs misbehaving and things like that. I've experienced these, and I have seen and I have known that, okay, when I find out the medical information like this, the best thing to always in the treatment of this condition, the best thing is always to find out what, because most of us do one wrong thing. We go to the doctors after getting treatment, we go home.
That's it.
We are fine. That's it. No. It's like, go to the doctor and you are entitled to understand what is wrong with you.
Ask questions.
Ask the important questions. You get? I need to understand what is wrong with me.
Yeah.
As in, yes, I've come, you know, when they are doing the RX, the DX and everything, the first thing is, if you tell the doctor, okay, I know I have sickle cells, what they are going to do is, okay, known sickler. Always at the top, known sickler. Then they find out what is wrong.
Yeah.
All those tests which test was confirmed.
Yeah.
I need to understand. So when I understand that, okay, this time, due to ABCD, this is what was confirmed. Due to ABCD, this is what was confirmed. That is when I get to understand where I am.
Yeah.
That is when I get to understand, okay, how do I manage or how do I prevent? Prevention of triggers can be as easy as knowing what is wrong with you. You get? Is that to a certain extent, personally, I don't take orange juice. But not every warrior will not take orange juice. You get? But for me, it's a trigger. You get to start to understand, like, start to make deductions from your past
experiences.
Yes. Is that even though you're not so much a medical person, but you know what's up with you, what's wrong with you, what's up with me personally.
Yeah.
You're not a medic, fine, but your health is on you.
You have to be interested
in knowing yourself
and advocating for yourself, which is what I'm trying to teach my sister right now, because she'll go to the doctor and she won't ask any questions. Just tell them I'm sick, I want to feel better. She doesn't ask what caused it.
To a certain extent.
What is my HB? What is...
To a certain extent, that's where we get even misdiagnosed, and we don't know that we were misdiagnosed. Yeah. Someone will put you on medication of a misdiagnosis, and then after finishing the dosage, you're still under the same condition as how you went. How do you capture that information? How do you store your own records to a certain extent? Store your own records once you start, let's say you start grabbing this information from your parents, it's now on you.
Yeah.
That's where we are.
Going from being cared by your parents to being an independent adult. There's so much learning that you have to do in such a short time.
And adjustment.
Yeah. Has your perspective changed, especially around sickle cell over the years? And has your approach changed at all? How you approach advocating in the spaces you do?
Yeah. To a certain extent, as I told you that most people think it's a cry for help when you go to advocate. They think it's a pity party or something like that. I first analyze the people I'm going to speak to. Basically, when you go into a field of medical practitioners, you have to think like a medical practitioner. When you go into a field of, there is one thing that someone told me way back when I was still a volunteer somewhere. They told me, the crowd you see beyond that you're serving, just assume one thing. Someone knows it all. You get? The people that we are talking to live right now, just assume one thing. They either know it all or they know nothing. You get?
Yeah.
So that helps when you're starting to, because certain circles you face resistance. You get? When you're in other circles, someone will be like, oh wow, I never knew this.
Yeah.
Someone will be like a consumer of all this information that you're bringing in. You get? So it depends on where you are, on how you're doing, but always assume that this person either knows nothing or knows it all. So you're pitching to this person, and shortly after speaking to them is when you will know that they either knew nothing or they knew it all.
Yeah.
We find medical personnel and then you even go to debates of the scientific terms and genotypes and everything, and then they realize, oh wow, you mean the gene is not that if I have 4 children, 2 will have, 2 will not. Rather, it is per person. Let's say the mother is a carrier and the father is a carrier. All the children have 50% chance. When we go to also other details of blood group, research factors and everything, we get to understand where we are, but you get to understand that to a certain extent I had misinformation about this. That is where I am as a person. Basically, we assume a lot as a people, but when we go beyond, we get to understand where we are.
Yeah. The world's observing World Sickle Cell Day is on the 19th of this month. And the key message is on proving care for warriors. I think that's the general message that internationally the world's going with this year.
Yes.
As a warrior who has had experience with different touch points, what are your thoughts on this message?
The interactions I've had with people are the ones that have coming together to form a genotype awareness campaign. I've sat down and thought about this, and I'm like, let's go online. First of all, use the tools that are available to us. Let's go online and make the noise. Such that when we reach a point whereby we need these people to come and know their genotypes, it will be easier for them to say, okay, I've been advocating to a certain extent. Now people come and be like, do you know where there is screening? And I'm like, okay, this place has.
Yeah.
And like, okay, so then someone can go ahead and be like, okay, for me, I'm looking forward for a free screening. Then you're like, okay, wait, I will tell you on such and such a day. I will tell you when I myself am involved. Like last time when you shared and you asked us to share, you see that the turn up was there due to the people that I shared with in my circles. There are people that are really, really willing to learn about their genotypes, and there are people that are really willing to get to understand that the science behind it is that, okay, I understand when I have a partner and I'm a carrier and they're a carrier, we have this chance. Can we take our chances? It's up to you. That's not up to me. Mine is letting you know.
Yeah.
Get to know your genotype. Yeah? Okay. I'm a warrior and she's a carrier. Do we match? Should we stay in love? We already fell in love. It's your choice. But when it's time to have children, also, you have A, B, C, D lined up for you. You might adopt, you might choose this, you might choose this. It's up to you. The decision is yours because now you're partners. When we go beyond that, okay, I am a warrior. I can choose to say, let me just care for someone. It is a personal choice. But remember that when you choose love is a development. The fact that it is a development, it can also diminish. The fact that you've said, oh, I'm so in love with this person, I can't let them go, even with the risk of having children with sickle cells. The moment someone lands and they have sickle cells, this person will be like, let me disappear.
Yeah.
And it will be all about your choices. It's personal choice in life.
Yeah.
So that is basically what I decided to see, that once I give you this information, what you do with it is totally up to you. But I've given you this information.
That's your way of improving their livelihood.
So you can use this information for the better. And mostly when I'm emphasizing, I speak to ladies. I be like, ladies out there, when you are speaking to a gentleman, courtship or anything happening, you have the shots at that moment. Beyond courtship or anything, the shots are taken away from you. You no longer call the shots. When you are intentional with having children, for us, we are focusing on children. We are not focusing on your love life. love whoever you want, go out with whoever you want, do whatever you want with whoever you want. But when it comes to having children, be specific, be intentional. That is the message that I have.
It's an amazing message. I'll definitely keep that in my memory bank for later.
True.
Thank you so much. This has been a really enlightening conversation. I've really learned a lot from the technical perspective about genotypes more. I know, like, that's not so much my specialization when it comes to sickle cell and advocating. So it's great to meet someone like you in that space.
Okay.
Do you have any last words about your journey, your experiences, the interview?
Okay.
A message for the watchers?
First of all, I would love to thank Remark Foundation. When I was with when I was in this very space, is when I found Remark Foundation. Funny, I found Remark Foundation when I had a crisis.
Yeah.
You get? So it's how I found it, and when I go to the platform is so welcoming, and the platform helps warriors share experiences that help other warriors to do what? To manage what the other warriors have managed.
Yeah.
This is a very beautiful space. I wish I had come up with it. Okay. But I really appreciate the innovation behind it. I thank you very much. I thank you for the activities that we are doing out there. We are actually now seeing that warriors are becoming even more tight as friends.
Yeah.
They are becoming best friends, and if at a certain moment we come together and we grab a bite, we come together and we socialize and things like that happen, that is something that is amazing to me. To the people out there, I want you to know one thing, just get to know your genotype. You are hearing us speaking of genotypes. This is basically what we call as your gene information. The information of your genetic makeup is what we are saying genotype. This genotype that we are talking about is specifically for that part that brings about sickle cell disease.
Yeah.
Yes, we have seen so many genotypes. There are genotypes that bring about albinism. There are genotypes of the rhesus factor, the blood group genotypes and everything. But this specific genotype is for you to know whether you have a trait of the sickle cell disease, whether you don't have the trait, or whether you are a warrior. To a certain extent, there is that mild genotype that we spoke of, which brings people when they are in a crisis, they go off mentally. Someone never knew that they had this condition of sickle cell until they reached that state when they were in crisis. Yeah? Some are so rare that it can take someone up to like 18 years without noticing that but they are there. So if someone gets to know that, okay, this is my genotype, they get to know how they handle themselves. We have reports that carriers that are beyond 50 years of age, or known carriers.
Carriers or warriors?
Carriers are very, 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 very affected by malaria. And beyond being affected by malaria, they also get to show signs of disease.
Yeah.
That, like the symptoms of sickle cells.
Yeah, certain aspects
Start to show.
stomach arthritis.
You get those, and then the pains are related to those that are warrior-related pains. Yeah. So we are saying that, okay, if this person gets to know that they are carrier, they get to understand how to look after themselves.
Yeah.
Your health is in your hands. The future of your children is in your hands. But the best thing that you can ever do as a person is that prevention is always better than cure. Sickle cell disease is a very expensive disease. When we go down the road of dictating of how much we have spent, dictating of how much, when I went to this hospital I spent this, when I went to this operation so much was spent on me. The Baganda have a saying, "Siko obulamu tassa mukono," but really, if I put that into accountability to some of the youth my age, I would be beating them by far. You get it? So that is where we are. It is always protect your mental health. You get? So when you protect your mental health as someone who is a parent, you will be challenged with so many other challenges, but less by the ones of sickle cells. So that is where we are. As a people, let's try hard to prevent, because prevention is always better than cure. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming on the show. Now we have a new tag. Know your status, prevention is better than cure. Got that from you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for hosting.
That's it from us today from Sick Conversations.